my friends here on YouTube. Hey, hi, good night to you. YouTube. I had a bit of technical challenge coming on early. Still trying to work through a few things here in the studio, but we're here. We're here with you until sometime later this Friday. As I started out by saying it's been a quite a week for um, the country, and it is very interesting uh, what is happening across Jamaica, and of course we are here to bring as much of it to you. I have been trying to figure out if there is really a internal election inside the PNP. Is there really going to be an election, or is this pure talk? Um, my sources are telling me that Mr. Golin is in trouble, you know. My sources in the PNP, they are telling me that the leader of the opposition is in trouble, and that Mr. Golden is likely to lose the leadership elections. That is fascinating. Because if that is so, then Golden would be a cataclysmic failure. A man who emerged on the political scene and offered so much to the PNP is about to be defeated by Mr. Crawford. Well, that is what I am hearing from my sources inside the party. Now, I have been a little careful in commenting on the PNP's internal matters, because outside nationwide, I don't think any other news media is covering this story. But I got a call today, and I was reliably informed that the well, listen to this. Mr. Crawford, the member of parliament for Northwest St. Catherine. By the way, is my producer here? My producer Caroline, is she here? Let me see if I can take her up. I like her beside me, you know, because good night to you, producer. Hi, how are you? Hello. Yeah, you're very low. Let me see if I can turn you up. Hello.
Good night, neighbor.
Hi, how is your Friday night going?
It's going, neighbor.
Nice. Going. All right, great. Stay right beside me there. I'm coming back to you.
Everyone, please post the live, tap the screen, send a heart means, share the live, and good evening to everyone over there on YouTube. Could you please like and subscribe to the channel, please? Thanks. So listeners here on TikTok, please send me some heart memes. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. So Mr. Crawford today made a post in a PNP WhatsApp group. The Member of Parliament Crawford is saying that he will not be drawn into responding to what he describes as coordinated attacks against him. Attacks against him? Who is attacking Mr. Crawford? Mr. Crawford is saying that there are coordinated attacks against him and his perceived supporters inside of the People's National Party. Mr. Crawford, in a message posted to PNP WhatsApp group, accused some individuals of using proxies to attack him. What is happening? So who is attacking Mr. Crawford's supporters? And Mr. Crawford is describing the attacks as cowardly. This follows a report coming out of Nationwide News Network, that there is to be a challenge to Mark Golding, but that challenge is to come about next year, 2027. Now, why would Mr. Crawford challenge for leadership next year? Is it that the Constitution doesn't allow him to challenge this year? Anyway, Mr. Crawford is telling the PNP that they are cowards. And Mr. Crawford is hitting out against what he calls coordinated attacks against him and his side. Well, it appears as if the battle lines are drawn within the ranks of the opposition People's National Party. My understanding is that Mr. Crawford is quietly building a coalition, and it is shocking to see some of the people coming out to support Mr. Crawford. It has been reported that 13 MPs are backing Crawford. 13, and only 9 backing Golding. Thirteen MPs in the PNP backing Crawford, and 9 backing Mr. Golding. Could that be true? Well, if that is true, then it would be one of the most embarrassing defeat of any leader of any political party in Jamaica. Anyway, Mr. Crawford is saying that he has not made any public announcement indicating an intention to seek leadership within the People's National Party. So, Mr. Crawford, are you going to challenge for leadership or you're not? Because you are accusing the people in the party of being cowards. Why don't you come out and and say, are you challenging for leadership or you're not? Because if you are at this time failing to announce, then all you are going to do is to further divide the party. If you're going to challenge, you're going to challenge. If you're not going to challenge, you're not going to challenge. Mr. Crawford, though, is very shrewd and has maintained that as a registered member of the party, he has the right to offer himself for any position should he choose to do so. Well, that's wishy-washy, Mr. Crawford, to suggest that any member of the party has the right. Does Miss Nikisha Burchell not have the right to challenge for leadership? Will she? What about Isaac Buchanan? What about Julika Jess? Philip Paul? Anthony Hilton? That's a wishy-washy response, Mr. Crawford. If you're going to be a leader, then stand up, offer yourself, and stop hiding behind these little wishy-washy statements. Based on what Mr. Crawford is saying, the rules of the party does not allow him to challenge until September 2027. We're in the month of July, August, September, October, November, December. The People's National Party is expected to have their annual national conference in September. And therefore, that's 14 months of an internal election. That is a prolonged campaign that could damage the party. A party that has lost 3 consecutive general elections. A party that is trying to find itself. A party that has lost its political identity and is only right now running around the country telling lies, spreading disinformation, is not electorally viable. They haven't offered one single alternative policy that is worth discussing. Nothing has ignited the country, coming out of the party. And for the party to get into 14 months of prolonged campaigning cannot be good for the party. Mr. Crawford added that I have reduced my own presence, literally jumping walls to avoid cheers upon entrance and choosing to flee situations where there was a clear reason to fight, just to preserve the party's image. I will maintain my silence for the same reasons. Crawford also highlights what he says were his contributions to several key policy proposals, including debt forgiveness measures, a teacher retention plan, a 1 meal per child school program, rent-to-own housing initiatives, and increased income tax thresholds. So Mr. Crawford is actually saying that the PNP's election manifesto policies were his. Well, that's not a positive, Mr. Crawford, because it suggests that your policies were rejected by the Jamaican people. I don't think that that is something that you should be boasting about. Because if you are now saying that the manifesto of the PNP were largely your ideas, then it means that you have lost. I don't understand. Why would you be saying that? I thought that political parties are units, people coming together. So why are you claiming the ideas now? That they were your ideas? That seems a bit selfish, Mr. Crawford. That's not leadership, sir. That's not leadership. Why are you doing that? That almost seemed like a betrayal of the party. Mr. Crawford is highlighting that he has had contributions to key policy proposals in the party. Because if those proposals were accepted by the Jamaican people, then the PNP would be in government. And the fact that you are in opposition, Mr. Crawford, suggests that that the people of Jamaica rejected you and your proposals. The member says that the contributions do not entitle him to any particular leadership position. They should at least earn him the right to exist in peace within the party. So is it that Mr. Crawford is not existing in peace? Why is Mr. Crawford saying that he can't exist in peace? If truth be told, says Mr. Crawford, if all truth were to be told, there would be no peace in Babylon. you know, Mr. Crawford, what a fascinating man you are. There would be no peace in Babylon. What is Mr. Crawford talking about there? Where is he calling Babylon? Euphemism? I need to talk to Miss Nikisha Burchell. Miss Burchell, what figure of speech is that? Is a metaphor? Is a simile? Is an oxymoron? What is it? Anyway, Mr. Crawford said if all peace was to be, if all truth were to be told, there would be no peace in Babylon. Anyway, fascinating. Anyway, I understand that Mr. Crawford is getting good support in the party. That the party is so desperate to win that they feel that Crawford's popularity could put them in good standing to win, to break the disastrous electoral outcomes of the party. And that they don't feel that going with Golden is a chance the party is not willing to take, because Mr. Golden is becoming less and less politically electable. My sources tell me that those discussions are happening and that Mr. Golden cannot beat Andrew Holness. And they feel that early in the year, I understand that some overtures were being made to Lisa Hanna, but that haven't worked out at all. Miss Hanna is traveling all over the world producing her beauty products, and don't really want to have nothing much to do with the PNP. I think Miss Hannah is saying when I was available to you guys, you didn't want me. And now you know in the political wilderness, trying to come back to me. I not doing that. So Mr. Crawford seemed to be their best bet. So almost like a sinking ship trying to rescue themselves, and no matter what them do, the ship still a sink. I have some very serious questions to ask, about Crawford's authenticity. Is Jamaica ready for a Rastaman to be its prime minister? Is Jamaica ready for a Rastaman? Is by the way, what is Mr. Crawford's religion? Are you a Rastaman, Mr. Crawford? Are you a Rasta, or you're a dreadlock? You wear dread, or you are in Rasta? Because when I hear you using language like Babylon, now here is a man who is offering himself for the, well, prospective leader of the party, talking about Babylon. I would love to understand Mr. Crawford's ideology, his philosophy, and his thinking. By all accounts, Mr. Crawford is an educated man. But are you a Rastaman, sir? What is it that you're offering to Jamaica? Will you trim? Now, I don't have any problem with Locke here. But I don't like the Babylon comment. I think that is loaded. And it concerns me that in the 21st century Jamaica, you could be coming to talking about Babylon, especially with the historical connotations of that word and what it represents in a society like Jamaica. Secondly, Mr. Crawford's credibility is to be tested, because Mr. Crawford is accusing the Ministry of Education of lying. And Mr. Crawford has not provided the evidence since the ministry has denied those allegations and presented facts using an independent source. A principal was at the press conference, and the principal literally rebutted Mr. Crawford. So if Mr. Crawford is going to come forward, he's going to have to come forward and answer some real questions. Earlier this year, Mr. Crawford promised the people of Jamaica that he had a plan. Just after the hurricane, Mr. Crawford in an interview on CVM said he had a plan, and all know we can't see the plan. Talk about the people I see has referred to illicit enrichment, including free old school bus, 1 billion theft. I don't know what that is about. Anyway, this is a developing story, and we shall be ensuring that we cover it in greater details going forward. The other matter in this story is what would a matchup between Andrew Holness and Damian Crawford look like? What would a matchup between the experienced statesman, world respected leader, Andrew Holness? What would a matchup between Holness going for a fourth term and the inexperienced Crawford? Is Jamaica ready to put Crawford in charge of the state? Is Mr. Crawford ready? What is Mr. Crawford's experience in government? Did you know that Mr. Crawford was never a minister of government? Mr. Crawford has never sat in a cabinet meeting, you know. Andy Burner, he became the leader of the British Labour Party today. And Andy is his third challenge for the leadership. Well, he didn't really challenge now. He, almost by acclamation. And he had several executive experience. What is Mr. Crawford's executive experience? Mr. Crawford went as far as becoming state minister in the Ministry of Tourism. And the best Mr. Crawford came with was that he went to shell down a party. I guess they would call that youthful exuberance. But what is Mr. Crawford's executive experience, knowledge of state craft, and the nuances of government that would qualify him to become Prime Minister of Jamaica? This would have been probably, people would ask about Holness. Holness became Prime Minister at 39, but Holness was a Minister of Education, a protege.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, and please send some heartbeats, please.
A protege of Eddie Siaga, and Holness, was recommended, endorsed by Bruce Golding to be Prime Minister. In other words, someone of the skill or skills and experience of a Bruce Golding saw in Holness leadership, and he lost his first election. And Mr. Holness lost that election. Some would argue that his inexperience cost him that election, because when he went to that Mandeville meeting, public meeting, to talk about bitter medicine, that was not wise political communicating. And the more experienced Portia Simpson Miller triumphed. What is Mr. Crawford's experience? Mr. Crawford, what is his experience? I wonder. I'm asking out aloud here. How would Mr. Crawford represent Jamaica on the international scene? At the United General Assembly in CARICOM. Yes, How is Mr. Crawford on the Jamaican Constitution? What are his views about Jamaica becoming a republic? Talking about Babylon. There would be no peace in a Babylon. I don't know. I don't know. I think Mr. Crawford is I don't know. Anyway, let's see what will happen. But it will be fascinating to see how this plays out over the next couple of months, and how Mr. Crawford responds to all the questions that obviously will have to be asked. And we will have some to ask you too, Mr. Crawford, the Politics Plus network. And I think it is only fair that if you are going to represent Jamaica, that you come on some of the platforms that are more aligned to the Jamaica Labour Party and ask some questions, because you don't want votes from either side. Anyway, I will tell you that I had a discussion today with a very experienced person in Jamaica looking at the political dynamics of a matchup between please don't listeners, if you're trying to call on the number, you won't get through. You hear? So sorry about that. Not taking any calls on that. Not taking any calls on that tonight. Not taking any calls on that number tonight, please. Not taking any calls on that number tonight. Okay, you can only get on the program through the TikTok. You have to come to the TikTok box. Okay. Yeah. Now, I will tell you this, that the leadership of Andrew Holness is remarkable. And I cannot see Jamaica choosing Crawford over Holness. I can't see that. There is absolutely no way that the people of Jamaica will reject Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Now, I don't believe, you see, that the Jamaica Labour Party understands the depth, the attractiveness of their leader. You know, I listened to the Jamaica Labour Party speakers at the area council one meeting last night. Truth matters, they call it. Truth matters. And I wondered to myself if the party understands how to communicate. Because I must tell you the truth, although I thought that the meeting was overdue, the strategy was weak. It was weak. I don't think the party understands the power of their leader. Holness is deeply admired in Jamaica, you know. Holness is a very trusted leader in Jamaica, you know. It's because the party have left too much for him. The party have left too much for Holness to do. If the if Wholeness had the PNP, he wouldn't even have a campaign. If Wholeness was backed by the PNP, he wouldn't have a campaign. The Labour Party dropped the ball. And you know, I'm going to tell you this. They did the same thing with Siaga, Because Siaga was my God, I'm off TikTok. Siaga was a master, Siaga was an amazing leader, and the party sat back and allowed the PNP to literally destroy their leader. Yeah. Internal fights and all type of thing happening, and Mr. Siaga was out there by himself. And I think that the party has not effectively supported its leader, Prime Minister Andrew Holmes. I'm not one that likes to be critical of the party too much, but I realize that there are a few of them that don't realize that they are in their position because of the Prime Minister. Some of you would not have won when you see it, It's because of the Prime Minister. In 2020, when the party had 49 seats, those seats were won because of Andrew Holness. And in the 2025 election, Holness carried the party. And I believe the party need to carry him. Some of you need to be active. I see a lot of the members promoting themselves rather than promoting the party. It is the party that must be promoted. And all of these fancy and flashy PRs, I don't see the party being highlighted. I see individuals. Wholeness is an attractive leader. And a leader that I believe that Jamaica cannot afford to lose at this time. But I believe that the party ought to do more. And I deduce this from the meeting last night, that the party is not focused on how it really is to challenge the disinformation campaign of the People's National Party. The strategy to me seemed a little off. And I will get back to that in another program. In another program. But I don't think that there is any competition for wholeness. So leader to leader, Crawford don't stand a chance against Andrew Holness. But we don't run presidential elections in Jamaica. Eh? We run parliamentary elections. It's a seat count. But I don't know that that Wholeness can lose any election in Jamaica, really. I tell you the truth. I can't see Wholeness losing any election in Jamaica. Just like PJ, Wholeness is I think unbeatable. I think it will be an uphill task for the PNP, no matter who they put there as leader of that party. But look at where the party is today after Mr. Golden rodeo. Look at where the party is today. And I think Mr. Golden missed the mark, And And I'm going to tell you why I think so. Mr. Golding missed the mark because Mr. Golding never had a message. First one, I'm going to give you about 10. I don't think he had a message. Jamaicans don't vote for white papers, you know. They vote for war cries. Message. Mr. Golding lacked message. And then Mr. Golding tried to mimic the patois. And the people felt that he was not authentic. Message, mimic. I'm going to get back to that. The PNP today is accusing the Jamaica Labour Party of misleading the country when it comes on to the toll issue. I'm getting to your calls soon. By the way, what a sad incident over there in we're in Trelawney. 7 persons lost their lives in a gruesome accident. Oh, wow. Very, 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 very sad today. That's very, 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 very sad. So Mr. VAZ is insisting that the People's National Party is responsible for the toll charges. And Mr. Luton Cousins say the Jamaica Labour Party government is to be blamed for the toll charge agreement. What is happening here? The report from the PNP comes from Dana Davy of Nationwide. Listen to her.
The Transport Ministry announced the impending toll increases for the north-south leg of Highway 2000 in a notice on Thursday. The announcement sparked a flood of criticism from motorists. Those criticisms prompted Minister VAZ to issue a statement in which he attributed the toll adjustment mechanism to the previous People's National Party PNP administration. According to Minister VAZ, the increases are a product of legally binding concession agreements entered into by the PNP and the private concessionaires. But in a statement on Friday, opposition spokesman on Land and Works, Luton Cousins, rejected the claim. He says there's no truth to VAZ's argument that the formula for the annual review of toll rates originated under the PNP. He says while the principal agreements that established the framework for the North-South Highway project were signed in June 2012, they were negotiated and executed by a JLP administration in 2011. Cousins says the PNP signed the deals within the framework of contractual arrangements and financial principles that had already been established by the previous JLP government. These include the MOU between the government and China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, the framework agreement, and the original implementation agreement, all signed before the December 2011 general election. Cousins says the current Holness government cannot wash its hands of responsibility for the increased toll rates. He says inflation under its watch has exceeded the upper band of its inflation target and is a significant factor contributing to the announced toll increase. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
All right. So there you have it. That the opposition is saying that it is the Jamaica Labour Party that is to be blamed for the toll charge. Here is the Minister of Transport, Darrell Vaz. Here is what he said. Again, we thank Nationwide for this story.
Once again, the PNP is being completely disingenuous. I understand that Mr. Cousins just got the little work a few days ago as shadow spokesperson. So we neither have the time or the documentation to properly review. What I can say categorically is that the Labour Party lost office in 2011, December. This was signed 6 months later, in June 2012, which would have given them sufficient time, wherever the discussions had reached, to code and put together a proper final contract for signing, which the onus was on them to do.
Now, if the minister is correct, then the PNP not ready. They're not ready. All right. Before I go to that, let's go to the minister's original comments on this matter, because the minister put out a statement yesterday in which he blamed the PNP for the toll the toll increase. And I can tell you this, listeners, that this toll matter is going to become a big story, because Jamaicans are not happy, and we are learning a little bit more of the contract. I have a copy of it and I have read it. Well, I'm not through reading it, but I tell you, it is a disgrace. Jesus Christ, may I tell you something? We have been told, guys, we have been told. It's almost that we were recolonized. This society, Jamaica, have some hard questions to answer, you know. When I read the toll arrangement, did you know? And member Harry, if you are listening, line up yourself. When I read that toll arrangement, did you know that there are roads in Jamaica that literally have a stay bad, cannot be improved because of the toll road? That even the train service that we now have, it affects what the government can do. What a wickedness, pan Jamaica, man. And you know why? You listening to me there? When a country mismanages itself, it is on the menu. And when you are on the menu, you don't have much talk, you know. Peter Phillips said it, you know, that when he went to the IMF to negotiate the standby agreement, my words, he was literally embarrassed. And we talk about sovereignty. Is Jamaica really a sovereign country? Let me tell you something. There's a lot of jokers on media. A lot of jokers. People who don't do no research, they do no reading. They just come on, turn on them lives and chat. Jamaica was shortchanged. It's a recolonization of the people of Jamaica. You lock the people of Jamaica into years of toll. And what we do now? And now this man come talk about inflation? Huh? What the dickens is inflation, sir? What caused inflation? You think inflation is a bad word? You think inflation is a bad word, brother? What are the foundations on which the new Jamaica is being built? When you have a debt to GDP of 140%, you think you have chat? And our government sign arrangements that told us for 50 years. We have been told, sold. That's what has happened to us. We have been sold out. And I believe that the people of Jamaica need to take their country back. And I'll tell you how. I will tell you how to take it back. Mr. VAZ is saying that we can't buy out the contract. And them has something with a protest about. And them has something should have draw a crowd pan road for ask the PNP. Why did you told us? I said we cannot take any calls on the phone tonight. Please, guys. I'm sorry. We can't take any calls on the phone. We cannot take any calls, man. Guys, we cannot. Please do not ring the number. Do not ring the number. We cannot take calls from that phone tonight, okay? You're just going to be disturbing the program. Why some people no listen, man? You're not listening.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.
Somebody keeps calling the phone and I'm saying to them, don't call. We cannot take the call. Just don't call. We can't take it. Oh, boy, I tell you. Anyway, it is what it is. You hear. Listen to Mr. VAZ, please.
We are aware. We are trying our best to have good faith negotiations, as we did with the extension of the Williamsfield Highway recently, to get some better terms. But a contract is a contract, and the government has to observe the conditionalities of those contracts.
Okay, that's Minister VAZ. Here is he again.
The government is very aware and sensitive to the concerns in relation to the new toll rates that have been announced. This was also a great concern of the cabinet. However, it is important to reiterate that these arrangements were made in 2001 and 2012 by a then PNP administration. All governments are bound to these contracts, which ultimately affect the Jamaican people. This is no different to the JPS license that was negotiated in 2016 prior to us coming into office. And of course, we all know that story.
Okay, so two different versions here. The Jamaica Labour Party government, through its minister, Transport Minister VAZ, is saying that the toll document, contract, signed under the PNP, and the PNP saying, no, it is not them. It is the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, I think Mr. VAZ is the right man to take on this matter. And Mr. VAZ responded quite quickly today. Here is Mr. VAZ's response to that of Mr. Luton Cousins. Mr. Cousins was just appointed opposition spokesman on transport. And Mr. Cousins is saying that they it's not them. Here is Mr. VAZ responding to that today.
Once again, the PNP is being completely disingenuous. I understand that Mr. Cousins just got the little work a few days ago as shadow spokesperson. So we neither have the time or the documentation to properly review.
Hold on. Well, if Mr. Cousins did not have the time nor the documentation, he should shut up. Mr. Cousins cannot afford to be irresponsible and to be misleading the country. That's not how an alternative government minister operates, Cousins. Go and do your research, sir. You don't have the time? Why are you rushing? You're not ready. If you're going to put out a statement, at least consult, no? There are persons in the PNP that were in that government, including Philip Paulwell. Philip Paulwell was a member of that government. Philip Paulwell was a member of the cabinet. Did you ask him? Omar Davies was the Minister of Finance. Did you ask him? Or was it Dr. Phillips?
What I can say categorically is that the Labour Party lost office in 2011, December. This was signed 6 months later, in June 2012, which would have given them sufficient time, wherever the discussions had reached, to hold and put together a proper final contract for signing, which the onus was on them to do.
All right, so that's Mr. VAZ. Here is he again.
I find it disingenuous.
Okay. I find it disingenuous. Go ahead, VAZ.
And there is no question that they were responsible for signing both agreements, the one in 2001 and the one in 2012. The record speaks for itself. This Andronis administration and the people of Jamaica continue to pay dearly for the incompetence and the recklessness that took place under
the People's National Party.
The PNP administration, the wrecking crew.
Mr. VAZ called them the wrecking crew. All right, so we're gonna have to get back to that story. The minister is saying that Jamaica and Jamaicans are paying dearly because the PNP was a wrecking crew. PNP was a wrecking crew. My God. Then joke with bad man. I want to end before I go to my callers with something that I heard coming out of the Jamaica Labour Party's talk truth or truth matter meeting last night. Before I do though, here is the complete statement.
Once again, the PNP is being completely disingenuous.
Mr.
I understand that Mr. Cousins just got the little work.
Okay, that's not the one.
A few years ago, I said a spokesperson.
I want to bring you something that came out of the Labour Party's meeting last night over there in Kingston. Something I heard from Minister Desmond Mackenzie. I thought it was interesting to hear Mr. Mackenzie speaking about a news report that came from RJR. And Mr. Mackenzie is saying that RJR misrepresented the facts. And although he reached out to them, they have not sought to correct the misinformation. I wonder why. Let's see if we can get Mr. Mackenzie.
An incident took place in my constituency on Tuesday. And Radio Jamaica and TVJ carried a news item saying that I, Desmond Mackenzie, led a group of over 200 people march onto the Darling Street police station.
Okay. So Desmond Mackenzie is saying that RJR, Radio Jamaica Limited, the oldest radio station in Jamaica, carried a news item that the minister marched with over 200 people at that incident in which he was pepper sprayed. Listen to Desmond Mackenzie. Listen again.
To intimidate the police.
And that he did it to intimidate the police. That's RGR, you know. TVJ, RGR. Mr. Mackenzie saying that. Now, I think we have established that the opposition People's National Party is misleading Jamaicans. Remember now, there's a difference between misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is a mistake, a genuine mistake. Disinformation is the deliberately putting out information that you know is false. Go ahead, Mackenzie.
And in the process of doing that, I was pepper sprayed. We made contact with Radio Jamaica.
So he called Radio Jamaica.
We spoke to the news editor.
Spoke to the news editor.
We said to him
Uh-huh.
that the report that you carried is misleading.
Yes.
It is false.
Uh-huh.
They said they will listen to it and get back to us.
Did they?
They didn't.
Oh? They didn't?
We made
Hold on.
contact with them.
Hold on. So you called them. You called them and told them that the report is false, and they said they will get back to you. And they didn't. You hear that? You hear that, listeners? They didn't. All right. Hold on there for me, Mr. Mackenzie. Could you hold on for me, sir? Let's let the listeners understand how serious this is. The Minister of Local Government was pepper sprayed. The minister said that the policeman that did it deliberately. And the minister is now saying that TVJ and RGR brought a false report.
An incident took place in my...
Let's listen to the minister again. Go up on the top. Hello, Mr. Mackenzie. How are you? Go ahead.
Constituency on Tuesday. And Radio Jamaica and TVJ carried a news item.
Yes.
Saying that I, Desmond Mackenzie,
what you saying to me?
Led a group of over 200 people march onto the Darling Street police station.
What you say, sir?
To intimidate the police.
Oh my God. But you didn't do that, Mr. Mackenzie. I don't think you would have done something like that. So did you call TVJ, sir? And RGR? Did you call them?
And in the process.
All right. He's coming. You know, boy, I tell you something. It is fascinating to listen to what is happening here in Jamaica, coming out of media. listen. This is amazing. I am having a little bit of challenge here with my audio. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Oh boy, I tell you something. Let me see if I can do this again. Let me see if I can do this again. Okay.
An incident took place in my constituency.
Yes.
On Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
And Radio Jamaica.
Yes.
And TVJ.
And TVJ.
Carried a news item.
Now, what did the news item say? What did they say, sir?
Saying that I, Desmond Mackenzie, led a group of over 200.
Why would you do that? To do what?
People march onto the Darling Street police station.
Oh my God.
To intimidate the police.
No, Mr. Mackenzie, you're going to have to help us a little bit more here. Now, tell us now, what steps did you take having heard that? Tell us what steps you took.
And in the process of doing that, I was pepper sprayed.
Oh, so they are saying that you had 200 people with you, and in the process of you trying to intimidate the police, they pepper sprayed you. Now, is that true, sir?
We made contact with Radio Jamaica.
Okay, you called them.
We spoke to the news editor. We said to him that the report that you carried is misleading.
That's what
it is false.
Okay. Yes.
They said they will listen to it.
Okay.
And get back to us.
Well, that's fair. Did they get back to you?
They didn't.
Oh?
We made contact with them. And they read a news item. The news item that they read to us was not the item that they carried in their 5 o'clock news.
Oh, so they carried a different news item from the second one?
Or what they carried in their midday news on Tuesday on TVJ.
What you saying to me?
We got a copy of the newscast.
That is good. A good thing that.
And the newscast said that I led 200 people
it actually
down on the police station on Darling Street. Alive from the pit of hell.
Oh, hold on there now, Mr. Mackenzie. Are you saying that RGR is the pit of hell? Because when you say alive from the pit of hell, are you saying that RGR is the pit of hell? You have to be careful.
Alive from the pit of hell.
No, but who is the pit of hell? No, Minister, is RGR the pit of hell? Because you say it's alive from the pit of hell. Is RGR the pit of hell? Go ahead.
Alive from the pit of hell.
The pit of hell. But I tell you something. This is so fascinating. It is actually dramatic. RGR is alive from the pit of hell. The minister said it's alive from the pit of hell. Is the minister saying that them is the pit of hell? Well, Minister, no, seriously though, Minister, let us understand exactly what happened. Go ahead, sir.
We said to them, you need to retract.
Okay, yes. Withdraw it. Yes.
They have not done so. So I put out a release this morning.
You put out a release?
Contradicting what they said.
Yes.
And they promised to retract. I listened to the 12 o'clock news.
Have they retracted?
No retraction.
Wow.
I listened to the 5 o'clock news.
Did they retract?
No retraction.
Oh my. Huh.
I want Jamaicans to understand.
What you want us to understand?
That the Jamaica Labour Party
Uh-huh.
support freedom of the press.
The party supports that.
We believe in a free democracy.
Yes.
The same way media is calling on us as politicians.
Yes.
To be transparent and open and to be honest and true.
Yes. Uh-huh. I agree with that.
What about you?
Yes.
Isn't there a standard for honesty and decency that should be displayed by media in this country?
Yes, sir, I believe that.
You go around and you malign people.
Yes.
And you tell lie on people because you want to get ratings and to sell newspaper.
Hold on. Are you saying to us that TVJ is and RJR and the Gleaner is doing that for ratings and to sell paper? Is that what they're doing, sir?
I am not going to accept what the RGR Gleaner Communication Group has done.
All right. You're not going to accept it, sir? What are you going to do about it?
I'm not going to accept it.
Okay.
Somebody must stand up to these people.
Okay. You are going to stand up to them, Minister?
We cannot continue as a country. They did the same thing.
What they did? What same thing they did? Tell us.
With the third party, with the third country situation.
Uh-huh.
They carried damaging stories.
Uh-huh.
Put a woman's life and her property in danger. This woman's property, her investment.
But that's not good.
And I had to stand up at a function and call them out.
Uh-huh.
And then they went and they apologized after the damage was done.
Oh my God. Uh-huh.
Labor rights and Jamaicans.
Yes.
We are going through difficult times in Jamaica.
Oh my. What times we going through, sir?
And you have people whose only ambition is to discredit the government.
Huh.
To tell lie on the government. Everything we say, they take it and they twist it.
Them a twister.
We're going to be pushing back at liars.
Okay. You're pushing back. Tell us more.
We're going to be mashing down the lies. The truth is what matters. Labor rights. We have been a true, honest, and open government. We have handled the affairs of Jamaica in a way that they, when they were there before, they can't point to any major accomplishment. But labor rights, it is not an easy road.
Oh my. Uh-huh.
And so we have to provide the information, not just to party supporters, but to the country in general as to what we have been doing since 2016 as a government.
Yes.
And so we have brought together.
All right. So there you have it, Minister. Thank you so much, Desmond. I hope that your eyes are okay now. And very, very unfortunate situation there, sir, that saw you being pepper sprayed. And also that TVJ and RJR have misled the public again. But Mr. Mackenzie, I think you have a cause of action against them if you are saying that the information that they have published is inaccurate. You know, true, sir? You should do something against that. But what a shame, though, listeners, that RGR published a story that the minister led 200 people to disrupt the police. And he called RGR and they said they would listen to the story, and they haven't retracted it. That is what we have for media in Jamaica. That is why you need to unsubscribe from them and don't listen to them. That is what we have for media in Jamaica. Fascinating. Okay, let's go to the callers now. It is 10 o'clock, and the callers will have 1 hour to share what is on their mind. Producer, I don't know why this person keeps calling the phone. Although I say I cannot take a call on the line, the person keeps calling the phone. No, sir, if you keep calling, I'm going to have to block your number from the platform, because you're really just disturbing us. No, if you want to come up on the program, you have to get on to the TikTok page, send a request, and we will take you up in the box. We have right now with us our resident analyst, member Harry Henriquez, and member Henriquez is going to be with us for the next 3 hours as we member, how are you?
I'm good, neighbor. I'm good. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi,
I
Caroline.
appreciate you joining me, member. Member, let's start with the minister's allegations that the RGR group put out a story on him, and although he called RGR to say to them, hey man, the story is wrong, RGR has refused to retract it. Why?
Well, neighbor, that I really wish he had called the lead editor's name so we can bring it down to the level as to who needs to be held accountable even further.
Yes.
But only that editor can tell you what is the influence to keep this maligned message from the minister.
Yes.
Right, to paint him in that way. Because in terms of what the news media should stand for, neighbor.
Yes, sir.
Unbiased, balanced, right? Pretty much to be one in which you don't have what I would say an interference or an unhindered voice.
Yes, sir.
Right, from the citizens. But what I'm seeing is I'm not seeing impartiality.
Yes.
I'm not seeing an advocate for democratic governance, neighbor, or diverse perspectives. What I'm seeing from the Gleaner here is I will do every and anything that walks the thin line of ensuring that I am very relevant, I am in the minds of the people, and I'll do so at any cost for anybody's character.
Yeah, Remember, media houses can make mistakes, and I suspect that misinformation comes out from time to time. But if the minister calls you and say, "Hey, not no go like that," and you stand by your story, then it's either the media group got evidence that Mackenzie's story is not true. It can't be any. Why would they hold on to their story?
Well, here's the thing, neighbor. I'd want to know how them get that story if Mackenzie himself don't even know that was a plan. Because what they have put out is to show that Mackenzie is doing something, but Mackenzie not even know about that type of what them have.
Yes, and how could Mackenzie secretly carry 200 people down there and it's not covered by anyone else? It couldn't be.
Anyone else, exactly. Because what they've done in a neighbor is that this is West Kingston region. We know where politically they are aligned. And the nature of people is if anything happens, you're going to see a huge crowd of people gathered anywhere. And what the Gleaner has done is weaponize the numbers of the people, the concerns of the people, because you come out in numbers when something is drastic and important.
Yes.
And what they've done is to twist it and turn a narrative that never even exists to create one.
Yes.
Basically, to say these people were gathered here and were organized here by the minister. And also, remember, this man is a member of parliament, you know.
Yes.
Right? And they're saying he would have organized it to put the police force, you know, on hinge and so on. That doesn't make any sense. It is this is one of the major things. This man government is in power. Why would he go up against the state which he is a part of?
Absolutely great point that is, sir. Great point.
So that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? And to know that the minister called them, whichever capacity he called them in, whether he wanted to call them as a concerned Jamaican, as the member of parliament, and or as the minister, whichever capacity, he had the evidence to say, listen, that is incorrect, withdraw it. And he holds the evidence of what you played. Because here's a blatant lie, and they want to take Jamaican people for fooling a neighbor.
Yes.
You would then play something different from what was initially published. Is it that now you're going to say, oh, that is AI generated?
Yeah.
Where does the accountability lies in the mainstream media, especially when they've been getting these things blatantly wrong? And I want to say by choice.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, send the heart knees. And for YouTube, we're asking you kindly, please, to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. And we also ask you to unsubscribe from the previous one, which is Caribbean Current. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Reminding the listeners that the name of the channel is Politics Matter JA. That's Politics Matter JA. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the Politics Matter JA channel. Thank you so much, producer. Yeah, yes, member.
So, neighbor, what they're doing, and people need to understand this, it's almost like the Radio Jamaica want to bring back a narrative that was laid over West Kingston, neighbor. That is something that they want to play on the psychology of people, because what was painted in history and in people's minds growing up is that West Kingston a dangerous place. It is always in some running with the law. That is what they want to paint in a neighbor. And almost to say, listen, don't make it fool you. They are still in that same capacity when it's a total lie. Because what people will remember and draw from this is to say, for example, Ashanti Valley people stay. And that now opens up experiences and even misinformation of the past for that era in a neighbor.
Yes, sir.
And then now, what you do now is, because there are predominantly Jamaica Labour Party supporters there, you're going to say, listen, see there, the ruling party people, so them behave and them want be unlawful, right? They want to go against the force because what? A freedom government in a power. That is what the Radio Jamaica want to put to the people in a neighbor. And a lot of people has run with it as well.
Yes.
And what you do now is you're trying to weaponize a nation's past and their experience against its very own people. Because that is what you want to do in the media now in a neighbor. Sell sell whatever you want to sell for business purposes. So you're turning the people against themselves for your profit, for your gain. Because that is what people will walk away from, and walk away with to say that it's exactly what is being done. It is a repeat of history, when that is not the reality.
Yeah.
It was an incident that happened. The member of parliament went down there, who happens to be the minister of local government as well, and wanted to ensure that everything was done in the right way. Protocols were followed and so on. That was what it is. He provided representation for his people.
That's leadership.
And but you want to weaponize that and want to put out something that was never there.
Yeah, remember, we're going to have to pick that up. we're gonna have to pick that up more in the Sunday review because I have to move you on quickly. You hear? Remember, you know Damian Crawford quite well. Remember, do you think that Mr. Crawford is ready for the job of opposition leader and to become the alternative prime minister? Mr. Crawford has never been a cabinet minister. The furthest he's been is a state minister for tourism. How ready is Mr. Crawford for this proposed leadership challenge? And what I'm hearing is that he's likely to succeed. Is Mr. Crawford ready for this?
Well, there's two ways to answer that, neighbor, and I'll put the first one real quickly to it. He is more ready than any of the last three candidates that the People's National Party has put up.
What you saying to me?
He's more ready than those three persons, right? Because the beautiful thing about it in his case is that he has also served under all three, so he knows what is required from his political party's end. He's prepared, fully prepared in that regards. And let's not fool ourselves. The standard for the People's National Party is lower than the current administration. We have to make that clear, right? But while you may be ready to be the opposition leader, to be a prime minister potentially is a whole different ball game.
Yes, and that's what I would. Yeah.
Especially when the standards of representing Jamaica has catapulted to something we've never seen.
Under Holness.
Under Andrew Holness. It simply means now you have to match that, the very least. And how do you match somebody who has been getting better every year, every term, every disaster, he gets better. Everything to advance Jamaica, he goes a level. He bests himself every time. Every term we've seen Andrew Holness and his administration neighbor has been a personal best. That is what you're competing with. And I don't think Damian Crawford, as brilliant in terms of ideas that he may have, he's not ready to represent Jamaica to where we are and where we need to go currently.
Mr. Crawford, in earlier this year, Harry, promised that he had a plan. We haven't seen the plan yet. Isn't it?
Correction, neighbor, not a plan, a draft.
A draft. Oh yes. Mr. Crawford, if he is to emerge as the leader of the PNP, Harry, you don't think that Mr. Crawford need to start opening up himself for some questions and some discussions about who is he and what he's about?
Well, for him to do that in a neighbor is for him to also offend who is ahead of him. Those same votes and support he needs to topple those who are ahead of him, he would have to offend. And you have to be brave enough. You have to almost, based on how the People's National Party works, you have to be willing to commit almost political suicide to get that if they aren't for you.
Yes.
And I don't think he's prepared to go to the ends of the earth just to become the opposition leader.
Okay.
That is one thing, because it's going to be a personal cost for him.
Yeah, you have in the past said that you have admired, you admire Nationwide. You respect them as a good media house in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes, Nationwide is reporting, Harry, that Crawford is gaining more support among the member of parliament than Mr. Mark Golding. Could that be true?
Well, it can have some tenets to it, neighbor, especially when you look at the fact that there's a new breed in parliament and they are looking for a new type of leadership. Crawford is the best. He can align himself to that philosophical idea that the new breed has. And remember,
what is that? What is that philosophical idea?
Well, he would have to come and point it out, as well as the additional new breeds. But the youthfulness he can align himself to. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
Because he can mediate among both the older members of the People's National Party, because he has served under them, and also those who are coming up. In fact, a lot of those who are coming up neighbor look to him in terms of specific styles.
Yes.
Because let's look at it. His political career went and do the rounds, and he somehow managed to survive it. In fact, I said it here, and Crawford can always come and confirm it. Even Portia Simpson Miller has kicked Crawford out of a meeting before because I'm out. So he would have gone through it, neighbor, and they looked to say, listen, if Crawford did it and him do it with a vibe, and he bounced back. We're young, we can take a few hits and out survive those who are outgoing. So they can look to him, because I can tell you, a lot of them won't say it explicitly because of, how they ended up in the party or who brought them in it. But a lot of them look to him as a level of inspiration, neighbor. If you listen to how they speak and how they operate, and look at who ran the last election, because people need to understand, Mark Golding was just the puppet leader, but who they sent out to rev up crowds, who they sent out to get the people and revitalize the base, it wasn't Mark Golding. It was Crawford, like a big cheerleader out there.
Okay.
So he has that support from the people.
Thank you. Mr. Crawford is suggesting, Harry, that he was the key contributor to the policy proposals in the last PNP manifesto. I know you are a researcher, Harry. You must have read that manifesto. The fact of the matter, though, Harry, is that manifesto was rejected by the people of Jamaica on September 3rd. That is not a feather in Mr. Crawford's cap, is it?
Well, what I can tell you in terms of how I know he operates, neighbor, he may have overseen a lot of what is said. I know there are probably 2 to 3 things that he clings to heavily, that those are, if came true, would have said his baby, which was the 1 degree per household. There was another one regarding education, right? Those are his things. And he had a big hand in it, because out of everybody from the People's National Party that spoke about the manifesto, he knew it well. It's just like how Mark Golding could have gave us in the back end what Julian Robinson's speech was in the budget debate. That is how well Crawford knew the manifesto better than anybody else. So he was heavily involved in it. But what he has missed is his perception as to what he would want to be done for Jamaica and what the reality is. He missed that mark.
Okay.
Because a lot of what is in it, he couldn't say how those were going to be funded.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe inexperience in terms of how government operates. Mr. Crawford in the PNP group said that if all truth were to be told, there would be no peace in Babylon. What does he mean?
Neighbor, a lot of people will take offense to the truth, because there are a lot of things that if come to light, war figure broke, because nobody a lot of people put up a front to say them never say so, right? Because them have to defend it to the end. And also the truth that are spoken among select few about others are very damning. And that in itself will highlight a lot of persons who would be deemed as hypocrites among themselves. And we all know people take to hypocrites, neighbor.
That's quite true. Hold on there for me, member. Harry, Scratchy, how you doing?
Night, Caroline, already everyone on the planet.
Scratchy, 14 months from now, the PNP will have to deal with this. How is that going to be managed in the party? An extended election campaign, rumblings of a challenge coming next year. Is it too early?
Definitely, I think it might be too late. Definitely, I think neighbor, going into 2030, neighbor, from a political landscape, neighbor, a political point of view, neighbor, there is nothing that is going in the PNP favor, neighbor.
Nothing.
Not one thing, neighbor.
Not even Crawford?
From a political standpoint, neighbor, is going in the interest of the PNP, or sorry, the PNP in the form of interest, neighbor. When you look at someone like a Damien Crawford, neighbor, who's going for leadership, and you ask Harry, what do you think about Damien being the leader and then possibly becoming a prime minister or anything like that, neighbor? One thing I can say, though, neighbor, is that Damien Crawford, neighbor, succeeding, neighbor, becoming the leader of the party, neighbor. There's still something that Damien Crawford will be lacking, neighbor, and what the PNP don't realize, neighbor, that it's not a leadership problem over there, neighbor. Anybody at all become the leader, they're going to be able to pull 400,000 votes, neighbor. But what the PNP don't realize, neighbor, that the current cohort and the current batch of PNP member of parliaments that we have, neighbor, none of them, neighbor, have any level of formality that matches or go directly with the word prime minister.
Oh.
You know? If you look at each and every single one of them, neighbor, look at even Mark Bowley now. Mark Bowley might can gain the funding, neighbor, to run the party and move the party forward. Because I can tell you this, the PNP didn't last the last election, neighbor, because they were short on money. Money wasn't the PNP problem why they lost the last election, neighbor.
Why they lost?
The PNP lost that election, neighbor, as a result of Jamaicans not seeing Mark Bowley fit enough to be a prime minister. They don't get that quality and that type of thing coming from him. That's why they wasn't. Look at Damien Crawford. Now, Damien Crawford should become the leader of the PNP, neighbor. It's the same thing. So, the reason why I would want Damien Crawford to lead the PNP, neighbor. Do
you think, Scratchy, that, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, that it is his dreadlocks or what? Is it that image is not, with Jamaicans are not ready for that image in the prime minister's role, and let us not go around it. It is going to be an issue.
Definitely, neighbor. And I don't think, neighbor, it's a matter of his image. I don't think Damien Crawford's image never plays any role in him vying for leadership of the people.
Those you don't think those things are important to people these days?
No, neighbor. They voted him as a member of parliament. He's someone, neighbor, who was some kind of liking or some kind of likes, neighbor, the Jamaicans at one point, to get me. But he has managed to overplay himself, neighbor, and play out himself in some circumstances at some level. But I don't see, neighbor, I don't see that happening, neighbor. What I see is, I'm going to ask myself a question, and all of us will ask our question is, the same like how we see civil society groups, the same like how we see corporate Jamaica, a specific media group, same like how we see these people are lined up behind the PNP now being led by Mark Jefferson Golden. Are we going to see the same lineup of these cohorted people behind a Damien Crawford? If Damien Crawford should be successful, would the co-leadership of the current PNP right now, neighbor, sabotage him, neighbor, and sabotage the party by extension by not letting them be able to get
and allow the party to suffer a fourth election defeat?
And allow the party to suffer a fourth election defeat, neighbor, because both of these co-leaders, neighbor, are not dependent on any form of salary, neighbor, that comes from being a member of parliament or being a prime minister or anything like that, neighbor. It's just the power these people really want to can make certain decisions. It's not from a financial problem them have, neighbor.
Yes.
The sacrifice in the PNP, neighbor, for their own benefit and to say that they don't become a prime minister, that's no issue and no problem for them, neighbor.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Let's do a hypothetical though. Let's picture Andrew Holness and Damien Crawford on a debate stage. Is Crawford really a match-up for the prime minister?
When it comes to debate, neighbor, if you're talking about the current debate style, neighbor.
Well, I'm not even wanting the debate. I'm just wanting you to look at both men. You're not talking about the prime minister. The Prime Minister Holness with 3 terms under his belt, very experienced at a time when the world is on fire. Jamaica poised to becoming a Singapore. Do you think Jamaicans really would reject a Holness for Crawford?
Definitely not, neighbor. Jamaicans would definitely not reject Andrew Holness, neighbor. Andrew Holness, neighbor, has the experience, neighbor. Andrew Holness has the vision. You said something very, very clear earlier, neighbor. Never been a cabinet minister before, neighbor. Those not understand how the inner runnings of governance structure certain government. Yes, he might have it from an outside knowledge, but being inside of it, you never been in that core cabinet setting before, neighbor. You know, so there's a lot of things, neighbor, that is lacking that would propel him to becoming the prime minister, you know. So there's a lot of things, neighbor, that is holding back Damien. And not just Damien, neighbor. Every single member of the current cohort of the People's National Party, neighbor, of course they can become leader of the People's National Party. I'm not going to say they can't become leader of the PNP, but they will never become Prime Minister of Jamaica, neighbor. They will never become Prime Minister of Jamaica.
I get the sense, Scratchy, that you remember when Portia Simpson Miller was hoisted to the leadership, the Prime Minister at the time, PJ Patterson, said that Mrs. Simpson Miller was the only chance of the PNP winning that election. That somehow that the PNP may be clutching on something here in a desperate attempt to rescue the party's electoral fortune, because I can't see how, as is reported by Nationwide, Crawford is enjoying more member of parliament support than the current leader. Do you think that is possible? You see that, Kratty?
I mean, if you look at the 20th member of parliament's neighbor,
yes,
you can directly know which party. There's easy split down the middle, neighbor, as to where a lot of these member of parliament currently lies with their loyalty, neighbor, in terms of holding forward with Crawford, you know. So you can definitely tell, neighbor, if Damien is gaining any form of momentum, neighbor, that won't surprise me.
It would not surprise you if he has more support than the leader.
Yes, it wouldn't surprise me, neighbor.
Hold on there for me, Scratchy. Listen to George Davis break it down for you. Then you can comment.
So they say, to defend his title, Mark Jefferson Golding can guarantee support from Angela Brown Burke, Dr. Angela Brown Burke, Ian Hales, Dr. Dayton Campbell, Peter Bunting, Nikisha Burchell, George Anthony Hilton, Wavell Hines, Lothan Cousins, and Golding himself would make 9 in holding with Golding. They say the fence sitters are Julian Robinson, the big surgeon, Dr. Alfred Dawes, Natalie Nita Garvey, Mikhail Phillips, and Richard Azan, undecided, not showing them how. Forward with Crawford now, they say, has, at this point, Dennis Gordon, Philip Paulwell, Dr. Kenneth Russell, Heather Miller Bennett. Did I say Dr. Kenneth Russell? Is he Dr. Kenneth Russell? Yeah? Andrea Perkis, Denise Daly, Fitz Jackson, Zulika Jess, Rosie Shaw. See the VAZ, of course. I mean, if it's one man you know who's gonna support Damien come hell or high water, it's gonna be Dwayne VAZ. Chris Brown, who again, I mean, those three are very close. Dwayne VAZ, Chris Brown, Crawford, everybody knows. Those are 3 musketeers together. Omar Newell, the Central St. Mary MP, and Damien Crawford himself. So forward with Crawford has 13, including Crawford himself. And holding with Golding has 9, including Golding. And then the undecided has 5.
You hear that, Scratchy?
Yes, neighbor.
How is a leader of Mark Golding's stature not able to command the support of the parliamentary caucus?
I mean, remember Mark Golding inherited a fractured party, neighbor. Mark Golding didn't inherit a neighbor PNP that was holy and good and in one unison, you know. He inherited a fractured party, neighbor, and we are seeing, neighbor, fractions of that party after what he inherited, neighbor, taking shape right now, neighbor, where these persons, neighbor, had already posted their loyalty in regard to the runner between Dr. Phillips' neighbor and Peter Bunting at the time neighbor, and these persons are still pushing their loyalty in that direction. So that is why, neighbor, it is not in favor of Mark Bowling. And out of the 5 neighbor that they say is undecided neighbor, we who know the politics understand neighbor that we know that 3 out of that neighbor would definitely sign with Damian Crawford at some point in time down the line.
You're saying that 5 out of them, you know they're not going to back Bowling. 3.
3 out of the 5 that they say is undecided neighbor will definitely neighbor take Damian Crawford side neighbor in further going.
Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, you think that it will divide the party, Scratch? You know a thing or two about internal elections. 14 months out before the challenge can be mounted. It can be mounted this September because of the party's constitution. So it has to be next year. You think that it's a bit too early for us to have this conversation?
Nothing in that neighbor. It's not too early to have this conversation, neighbor. Once these things, neighbor, are being proper, neighbor, it's politics, neighbor. I want to strike while I hear this up because 3 months from now, neighbor, this won't have any relevance or anything if you do anything like that, you know. So we have to talk about it, neighbor. We have to create some form of pressure that will allow the opposition neighbor to come out and speak, or someone to let out something, or someone to rabbit out the hat or something for us to know what is going on. So I think, neighbor, that the problem in this, neighbor, I think that one of the biggest mistakes that Mark Golding and the PNP did, neighbor, and his servants did, was when they removed, neighbor, the voting as presidency, neighbor, leadership for the party, neighbor, directly from delegates and putting it, neighbor, to members. I think and they did that, neighbor, as a result of Peter Bunting losing that election, neighbor, and they felt that it was some corruption in terms of how they set up their groupings within their delegate core, 4 farm core, while Peter Bunting lost that election. Mark Golding won the election, neighbor, with the same delegates list, neighbor, but opted, neighbor, to change the party and say, okay, not just delegates, as members now be voting. And I can tell you, neighbor, that right now they are sorry, because if it was just delegates, neighbor, they would have a stronger presence, neighbor, or a stronger foothold in terms of the streets.
Oh, you are saying that they have opened up the party to the other members, and that favors Crawford.
Exactly, neighbor. They have opened up the party to other members, neighbor. It is favoring Damian Crawford, neighbor. If it was just exclusive to delegates alone, Bunting and Golding would have a stronger impact right now going forward.
Great point.
They have opened it up, neighbor. So it is much more difficult right now for them to control, neighbor. That's why you see Mark Golding now is reshuffling up and moving persons from here and taking posts from this person and putting this in progress because they see what is going on. They're hearing the whispering, neighbor, and they see that not just the Blackbeard man alone are trying to change the image. They say that Damian Crawford, neighbor, is also working and changing the image as well. They have seen how Damian is operating, neighbor. Damian has also, in the whole thing, neighbor, Damian said that he has personally opted, neighbor, to remove himself from the front line, to not push certain agenda. You know, he has said anytime he's going to certain function, instead I made a point here, so that instead of walking through the main entrance and causing any form of uproar, him jump the back fence.
He come to the back door. He said, I tell you the truth. Oh, what a fascinating fellow! I tell you. What he said, he don't walk to the front. Yes, sir. He says literally jumping walls to avoid cheers upon entrance and choosing to flee situations where there was no clear reasons to fight.
Exactly. So to show neighbor that Damian is
tell you.
Okay. Damian is saying, okay, I don't want to fracture the party.
Yeah.
I look a certain way going forward and the time is not present. When the time come closer,
yeah,
then I will make my move.
But he's saying that that there are some people who are coordinating attacks against him and his supporters in the party.
Definitely, neighbor. Remember, the party right now, neighbor, cohort and the priority hierarchy, neighbor, is run by people, neighbor, who believe in misinformation, disinformation, and proxy groups and attacks, neighbor. So
Yes.
neighbor, even a prophet come under that, of course.
Okay, all right. We're gonna have to pick this back up on in the Sunday review. But another story, Scratchy. The minister yesterday said that the people of Jamaica have been told, and the PNP came out today with a statement by Mr. Cousins saying, no, it's not we responsible for the toll agreement. It is the Jamaica Labour Party. The minister immediately rebutted that to say, hey, no, you are the ones responsible. Who is responsible for this mess, Scratchy?
I don't have the exact information as to tell you who was just trying. I'm not going to mislead the listeners. I don't have the exact, but what I would say, though, neighbor, what I would definitely say, though, neighbor, that when I hear Mr. VAZ say that the thing was signed from 2002, neighbor.
Yes.
What I can safely say, though, neighbor, is that Mr. VAZ is currently in the government. Mr. VAZ currently have access to information, neighbor, or to documents, neighbor, that the opposition will not be privy to. And Mr. Cousin himself, neighbor, was never a minister in charge of this portfolio ever in time. Mr. Cousin, I don't think he was around at that time either. So I would definitely neighbor say that Mr. VAZ neighbor rebuttal must have some form of grounds, and I don't think that Mr. VAZ will enter into a back and forth with the PNP and Mr. Cousin's neighbor without setting the facts straight, and Mr. VAZ will come out and make a premature statement like that and say that the PNP did this or the PNP did that when they were in power. But we know how government go, neighbor, and when time it comes to certain contractual agreements, whether one party is in power, one party is not in power, that contract don't come to an end, to a time for the renegotiation. It's a very difficult, neighbor, to try to shape and scope the landscape of all of those things. But in the context of the reality, neighbor, we have to understand that most of our toll roads are operated as a business. They are controlled by outsiders, or even they are controlled directly by government. We won't have control over some of them to 35 years, 45 years, depending on whatever concession or agreement was signed between government and these persons, So, with your party in a power, neighbor, we have lost an of them. And the greatest thing with the toll, neighbor, toll road is not a must, neighbor. Toll is something, neighbor. Toll is an option. So, if you have to understand, so you have to reach out earlier and take the route you normally have to take. Just so. Toll is not mandatory, Toll is an option. So, if you can bypass that because of an extreme cost, you can maintain our money. Just bypass it. Don't really turn and say, right, it will cost the government and say the government, Just understand it's just the reality of life, And you have to understand, neighbor, that as Jamaica continue to grow as neighbor, I will continue to see increase in minimum wage. I will continue to see increase in salaries. And there's also an increase in services or fees. There's going to be an increase in services as well. And we have to put yourself in that frame of mind to know that with whatever increases that we're seeing going on in the country, the expanding of the economy. And these things are also coming increase in services as well, because services are being carried out more efficient, services are being carried out more professionally. So I just the reality of the life we live in here,
Okay, thank you so much. Hold on there for me, Scratchy. We have some guests on the line. Jason, good night. Hello? Jason? Lloyd? Hello? Lloyd? Okay, no. Not there. Okay. Is Lloyd there? Not there either. All right, Scratchy, jump on to the minister, your member of parliament. Minister is saying that the RGR group misled in their newscast, and he got in touch with them, and they haven't retracted. How could that be?
We have seen this type of media type of media style coming from the RGR communication group in specific in terms of all of the other media companies that follow this umbrella, neighbor. They have been since this government has taken power from 2016, and especially since this third term and moving forward from September 3rd, where we have seen where they have upped the ante in terms of misinformation and certain things that they're spewing out there in the public domain. They have to pay a fine to Richard to Richard Query, I believe someone about $10 million or something like that. They have been asked and they have had to make attempts and made apology more than 10 or 15 times from last year till now, It is full time, for the Broadcasting Commission, Call it for what it is, Look into themselves and say that this is clear as day that some form of hidden agenda is here within this specific media organization, because you cannot be doing this. It was less than a month ago. A group that is a part of your organization showed someone personal business or someone dwelling and said that TC were living there. And up to now, it took a while before we made an apology to the people, and people were giving threat. Property was threatened to be burned down and stuff like that. The Broadcasting Commission is sleeping. And the Broadcasting Commission need to understand that if they should come out and reprimand or call out this organization for what they are seeing doing, it doesn't make you be a labor right. You call out wrong for wrong. Stop, sit down on these things. You're the Broadcasting Commission. You are the one who's responsible for the regulation and monitoring of this field. And you're feeling us miserable, neighbor. I'm telling you, I blame the Broadcasting Commission for a lot of these things. Open God earth, a specific media house, you come under so much things. After be letting out so much apology within 3 years space span. After be releasing so much apology. After be paying so much defamation cases. And you going to tell me, say the Broadcasting Commission don't call in this media house and say, listen, we have to have a discussion in something right. You can't be a media house of the country and within the last 3 months or the last 3 years, a 15 defamation suit you lose. You have to pay out too much money for. You have to retract statement and apologize too much time. It is clear that you are doing something that is against the goodwill of media in Jamaica. So, media, Jamaica, this media house, neighbor, it is time, neighbor, for them get called out, neighbor. And I don't, that's why I can't understand certain people in Jamaica, because when I look at all these shareholders who have shares in this organization and don't realize, say, ever since the current chairman of this organization take hold of this company, it is going down and down and down. Neighbor, the old lady of North Street has been there so long before me and your granny born, neighbor. And we have never seen anything like that. Worse days than now. And it never reached for them have to sell the building, neighbor.
Yeah.
And right now the building had to be sold. So the radio station had to be closed. So it is clear as day that the leadership of this media group is not in the best interest of the company, because it is serving a political agenda. They are paying a price for that political agenda. That's why shareholders are lose, and that's why they can't pay dividends, and that's why the company is in the crisis it's in, because they're sick of a hidden, or this is not hidden no more. This clear as day. They are more behaving like a arm of a political party than the fourth state, which is responsible for releasing media, which is truthful and factual. Neighbor.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see if we can squeeze in Ernie. Ernie one, hi.
Hi. I support Mr. Scratch's argument in how the media has actually played in how it is sending information out on what is happening in Jamaica. I have an elderly relative, right? And they are stuck on a particular station in Jamaica.
Yes.
And the information that they use to qualify their conversation sometimes is heavily skewed or heavily very unfactual.
That elderly couple, sir, they listen to Irie. Is Irie? They might listen?
No, man, the one who starts with the R and end with the R.
It's all right, man. Go ahead. You shouldn't even.
You understand me?
You shouldn't do.
Because even the incident with Mr.
Mackenzie. Yeah.
They listened to it and they were utmost saying, "Oh, see how them stay to the jail, them stay.
That is your elderly parents.
Yeah, but them get them information
from that source.
RGR.
Oh.
You understand me?
Uh-huh.
They get it from that source.
In other words, whatever RGR put out for them is Bible.
It's Bible.
And you know, so that's a very good point you're making, you know, because I don't know if the listeners know that in terms of the all media survey, RGR still commands a significant portion of the market, you know. They're only beaten by one other station in Jamaica. So RGR does have influence in Jamaica. Go ahead.
But I'm looking at it and I'm probably seeing a very subtle, we call it now, a subtle undermining of the government.
By RGR?
It's a very subtle thing, you know, and plenty people don't understand it, you know. But this is how me analyze it. You see, when RGR come on and talk things that are skew the thing in such a way that it would imply that the ruling party right now is being a dictator or being aggressive. People who are overseas who migrated from the country, say 70s, early 80s, early 90s, right? They would be implying that, listen, the way the news comes across to them, because some of them are elderly persons, so they don't have the ability to actually look for information and screen the web itself to find out a particular topic and read about it from 4 or 5 sources. They're getting it straight from RGR. And when they get that from RGR now, nobody can tell them that that's not the facts.
Yes, because they're substance, not only talk.
Yeah, and they use this argument to go to conversation amongst the Jamaican community and push a narrative which is not necessarily so. You understand me? And then this in itself will even use some of these older bloggers who do not, and I will say it again, do not check the information against the peers. Like something coming out from RGR, they don't check it against IRI FM, they don't check it against Observer, they don't check it against anything else. They just take it as the gospel. And sometimes persons who are outside of the net or outside of the Jamaican community hear this, they will automatically believe that this is the facts. And I will give you an example, I'll tell you something which I found very painful to me, and I was even trying to explain it. You remember there was an argument coming out that the Chinese hotel was burned down because of some not allowing people on the beach or something to that effect. You remember that a few months ago?
I know, I'm not recalling at all.
Do any of you members remember when they said them burned down a hotel? A Chinese hotel was burned down because they never want to allow black people on the beach or something.
Yeah, it wasn't Jamaica.
It wasn't Jamaica, you understand me? So a lot of people now have this mindset that have a negative view of the Chinese who are in Jamaica. You follow me? And them start to influence certain narrative about the Chinese who are in Jamaica, which in itself can become violent. And some persons are even exposing things of violence against the Chinese. You understand me? Because they know what they are doing, you know. They know what they were doing. They know what they are doing. Even with these infrastructure projects, they talk about, I can give you an example, the toll. How they structure the toll thing, the toll increased, the government increased the toll. But nobody...
It's not the government increasing it, sir.
No, but how they bring it across, they make it seem as if it's this administration itself is the main factor why the tolls are increasing. When truth and in facts, when the toll started, the contract was written on the People's National Party that when July come around, the toll will be increased. You understand me? Based on certain things, but you see, some of the people them don't have they don't have the age behind them to remember those early contracts.
Yes.
You understand me? They just go by what somebody is saying because they themselves look at these people who come through university and say certain things. They're talking the facts.
Yes.
Not recognizing they're human beings just like me and you who can easily be skewed to say a certain things or speak a certain way just because of a liking or bias against another team.
Yes.
And they are littered across many the civil service in Jamaica at this moment, and they do it on a regular basis. Look at I can give you an example which I found very painful, and nobody in the media spoke about it. When the nurse was speaking to the Prime Minister, right? When the nurse was speaking to the Prime Minister, you had a lot of people say, yeah, man, I'm safe for going, yeah, I'm safe for talk. But the truth of the fact is this, that when it comes down to certain things, there is a level of decorum and how you speak.
Yes.
When you have a leader in front of you, you want to express a certain thing, you do not come across as being combative.
That's true.
Right? But one of the things that nobody speaks about is the fact that nurse also said that nurses are not leaving Jamaica because of money. And in my say knowledgeable 40 odd years, I have never had a situation in Jamaica where a civil servant from a group can literally say money is not the problem.
That's a good point.
It was always money. It was always money.
Well, that's a great point, sir.
You understand me? It was always money. And this is where I'm saying that we as a people, I'm outside of the country now, you know.
Oh.
Hopefully I can go back in the next few years. I'm outside of the country now. But there are certain things that are moving in the right direction. And for me personally, I can't really look at the statistics coming from Jamaica. I have to look at the statistics coming from an international person looking at Jamaica and saying where their matrix stand in relation to benchmarking against the global benchmarks.
Yes.
And they're all positive. They're all positive. You understand me? And when these individuals say things like, oh, it is because, you understand that they have a bias that is, we call it cognitive dissonance them have, where they will not accept any data that does not support their ideology.
Well, yeah, that's great, sir. Well, great to have you, sir. Thank you for the intervention.
Yeah, but I have to take a break now because I get a call for work, all right?
Not a problem.
I'll be listening.
Well, yeah. We have another 8 minutes on the show. Member Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
Take four and give Scratchy 4 now. Let's spend a little time on the toll matter, Harry. It is coming about at a time, Harry, when as the PNP is suggesting, the inflation is a little bit up. How you think this one is going to play out in the society?
Neighbor, it's going to be one that will be absorbed sooner or later. We've had this same discussion last year around the same time. We moved on, right? I think the major difference though between what happened last year and this year, or the years before, is that it wasn't so highly politicized. It wasn't weaponized in the political arena, because the truth of the matter is that this is something that was done from a government standpoint long before any of us gave it any thought. And the whole politicizing it to have this blame game kind of thing, I don't think it bodes well at all. And it's going to get a little run, maybe a month and a half, if so long. Because the truth is, those who take the toll will find the extra funding, neighbor. That's just the nature of it, right? Whether that means you're probably putting a little bit more extra hours to work for cover it, whether you venture into investments and or entrepreneurship, whatever it is, because there's so many different ways in the current economy to make money. And if you have to do it, just like oil price, neighbor, you will have to just go and pay, right? Because it's something you'll make a conscious decision in doing. But in terms of to eliminate this whole thing of whose fault it is, neighbor, of both times had minimum 2/3 majority. In 2012, it was 42 to 21 in the favor of the People's National Party. They could have gotten away with anything. make it worse, in 2002, coming from the 2001, coming from the 1997 election, it was 50 to 10. So for those who may want to think that the opposition at the time, which was the Jamaica Labour Party, will no offense to it or put up any fight, the governing party at the time had so much majority rule that the opposition really and truly had no say.
A super majority existed, eh?
Yeah. And the fact of the matter for that neighbor is they made the decision. They didn't care about what would have been the future cost. In fact, they didn't calculate that whatsoever. They didn't care as to what the people think. What they cared about, neighbor, was to say, all right, election coming soon, we can run with this now because we can tell them, say, oh, see, we go on a big, pretty road. In fact, name a section of the road after me. And people bought into that neighbor blindly. And from an ignorant standpoint, not realizing that, listen, this is a cost that I will probably bear for my entire lifetime and probably half of my child lifetime. Selling us out while praising it as if this type of infrastructure is something that is heavily beneficial for every Jamaican at this moment. It's not. It is a cost that was placed on the backs of an already burdened Jamaica. Because we know the time, what times they were. And I think people now maybe be a little bit smarter, but at the same time still ignorant, because we, up to this day, we don't know as the public what the contractual agreed terms and conditions are. But we know, neighbor, who we should have held accountable and who we still need to hold accountable. Yes, it is the responsibility of the current government today to try and see what they can do to help the people of Jamaica. But that doesn't absolve the fact that the government of that time placed a massive burden on the people's back and wanted to paint a picture as if it was liberty at its best.
So it wasn't they weren't basically helping us. They were tolling us, eh? PNP Toll.
They were tolling us. Yeah. They in fact they told us, neighbor, into what to do. They told us into this time, into full effect. And it shows why I give what the numbers look like in both times, neighbor, was to give Jamaicans an understanding as to what the People's National Party is capable of when they have majority votes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, member Harry. Scratchy, here is what I want you to comment on before you go. The party had this meeting in Kingston yesterday. Truth Matters. You think that this is a good move for the party, and what did you make of it?
I will definitely have a good start. It's an arm of the party. You know, it's Era Council 1. One of the most popular, one of the most Era Council 1 neighbor, one of the most important Era Council neighbor. In any general election, neighbor, whether it be local or general, you know, Era Council 1 is very, very important, because when you look at Era Council 1 neighbor from a local government standpoint, neighbor, Era Council 1 is really KSAMC's farming and the price position who political party likes to remain. You know, when you look at Era Council 1 again, neighbor, 15 constituencies, neighbor, constituencies where it is often believed that where some of these constituencies don't normally change, or some of these constituencies stay, you know where the election can go to a certain time, you know?
Yes.
So definitely, neighbor, very important Era Council, neighbor. Era Council is responsible, neighbor, for corporate side of Jamaica. That does well as a corporate side of Jamaica, I mean the more urban side of Jamaica, Kingston, St. Andrew, you know? East Rural, St. Andrew, West Rural, St. Andrew. Those type of constituencies. So a very important Era Council, neighbor. And one neighbor that to come out with something last night and say truth matters, it definitely show, neighbor, that the party is listening. It definitely show, neighbor, that the party see a need for them, neighbor, to come with something like that, neighbor. And it kind of rally up the supporters of the party, neighbor, to a certain extent, you know. Case in point, Minister Morgan made some very sentimental statements last night, you know. And as a person are reposting it and stuff like that. So it goes to show that, you know, the party is making a step, and not the best step, but that's a bad step so far, you know. Definitely good point in this, and I hear them saying that it's going to be more regular. You know, I would ask that it not just be area council one. I would ask that area council also adapt it and see how you can find unique ways and strategic ways as well, you know, to try to show you can merge some of these things with your online bloggers, because
right.
the online bloggers have been doing an awesome and a wonderful job over the year long before, you know, they decided to come attacking. So find a way how you can merge some of these things with the online bloggers, because the online bloggers, regardless of whatever they maintain some level of popularity, they maintain some level of following. They should also do good from them from a standpoint, you know, the party is giving them this chance to collaborate and be a part of these sessions going forward. But definitely a good point going forward. I won't bash it never something, but I just ask the rest of the year to adapt it and just kind of change it to a bit little different, neighbor. Because what I can definitely tell neighbor and tell all of the viewers tonight, neighbor, is that I have always said it, neighbor, that it was the information I believe that was a problem in Jamaica, neighbor.
Uh-huh.
I believe the problem was that the mere fact, neighbor, that persons, neighbor, were hearing from the PNP, neighbor, at all time from a PNP standpoint rather than seeing them as an opposition. But every time persons are hearing message, neighbor, they were seeing it coming from neighbor from a podium and coming from someone just in neck and tie. So sometimes, neighbor, they want these persons to
I'm to take off mine.
So sometimes, neighbor, they want the more relaxed setting.
Uh-huh.
They want the more green shirt setting. They don't where they are more receptive of the message and those times, neighbor. Because as I ask since neighbor, people, the majority of Jamaicans, neighbor, they understand politics, but they don't understand governance.
Yeah.
You know, so the message is coming from a governance standpoint. Sometimes it's very heavily worded. So sometimes they bring it down. Because I can tell you, neighbor, I hear you said that you went around and you were asking some people about Naira, and a lot of people don't know Naira. And you're right, a lot of people don't know Naira. But I will tell you how special and how unique my country is from Jamaica, neighbor. A man don't know the name Naira. But I can tell you, say, if you skew the question the next way and say to him, you know, hear about the program of the government, and the government are planning to fix up the whole place. And I mean, the government get a bag of money to fix up the country. Him know so the government have a plan to fix up the
country. Him know something is there, yeah.
Him know, but you don't know say it name Naira.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it Ira or Tara or something different. I'm gonna think of somebody name so.
Yes. Right. And the acronym he's going to be lost in the acronym, eh? Although the acronym was designed, the acronym was designed for it to be simple, but it can still lose him.
Exactly, neighbor.
Let me ask you one thing more, Scratchy. I heard the party was I don't know if they made it slip that the PNP bloggers was giving them a little bit of problem. That admission I found startling, that the party was acknowledging publicly that the bloggers were carrying. In other words, the bloggers were hurting the party or the government. You don't find that to be very, 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 very instructive, Scratchy, that online bloggers are carrying such a heavy weight and are so influential on both sides?
Online bloggers, neighbor, since 2007 election, neighbor, where we see the big rise, neighbor, in the use of social media in our elections, neighbor. In the 2007 election, neighbor, the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, dominated the space, neighbor. You know? And then Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, continue to push. So the blogging started trying about those time or further. Some people might have said, yes, them started further before that, but it really gets straightened, neighbor, from the 2007 election. And I believe, neighbor, that coming into this 2025 election, neighbor, we'll see more bloggers, or it became much more popular. The whole blogging thing became much more popular, you know, because as a result of one main app as well to TikTok, you know, because of how heavily popular TikTok is and how strong the algorithm on TikTok is, neighbor. So the blogging thing become more stronger on this platform, neighbor. And I would be hypocritical if I should sit here and say it is as a result of the bloggers why the Jamaica Labour Party won the third term election. I don't have any empirical data by present to say that it's to say yes.
Right.
That is the case. But I would also be hypocritical, neighbor, if I didn't come out and also say that bloggers, neighbor, played a role in the Jamaican Labour Party securing this third term, neighbor.
Yes.
I can't tell you how to what degree, I can't tell you how magnificent it was, how less of a degree it was. But I can definitely say, neighbor, that the bloggers maintain a presence for the party, neighbor, and social media, neighbor, in the roughest time of the party, in the toughest time of the party, despite what was going on against the party, neighbor. Bloggers was on here from night till morning, pushing the message of the party, neighbor. Even before the political party itself decided to come out in full campaign mode, it was the bloggers who was keeping that level of relevance and maintaining that strong presence for the Jamaica Labour Party. So
yes.
I would tell neighbor that bloggers, neighbor, are very, very important, neighbor. And if bloggers are proving their importance in any other time, the last election, neighbor, have showed us that there's a space going forward, neighbor, for political parties, neighbor, to collaborate with bloggers, because bloggers have a reach from a social media standpoint where we know that is where a lot of the discussions are being about, a lot of things have been going on, and bloggers have that reach. So instead of you trying to come with some new face and trying to create something, yes, you can do that, yes, and the more the merrier, but also support the bloggers because they played a role in the victory of the Jamaican Labour Party secured in the last election.
Very well said. Very well said. Now it's time for me to tell the listeners to go over to Politics Matter JA and subscribe. I need 3 people at least to run over to Politics Matter JA PMJ and subscribe. We have 697. We need to get that to 700 now. Can 3 people just bring it up to 700 before we leave tonight? And please, tomorrow is Saturday. Sunday, by Monday, we want to try and get to 1,000. So come on. I don't see how we can have 50,000 likes and 697 subscribers. Something wrong, man. Is what I want. Go to Politics Matter JA and subscribe. PMJ. Politics Matter JA. And if you are watching the channel right now, 237 of you, have you subscribed to the channel? Just hit the subscription button now and press like. Hit subscribe and the notification. And we're going to be doing a very, maybe something here tomorrow. So I want you to be to make sure that you are on. So subscribe to Politics Matter JA. Do that now. It will be very well appreciated if you do so. We have over 300 people listening to us on TikTok. Go over to YouTube, type in Politics Matter JA and subscribe. And while you're at it, unsubscribe from the channel that is called Caribbean Current. We're not no longer associated with that channel. Just unsubscribe and subscribe to Politics Matter JA. Want to thank you so much for locking down with us tonight. Next week will be greater, better, bolder, fresher, lots of new things happening. And don't forget to join us for the Sunday review on Sunday at 6 p.m. On the Sunday review, we look at all the news items for the previous week, and we look at what are the top news stories, as well as those stories that are going to be carried over. This week was a very busy news week, so the Sunday review this Sunday will be very interesting. I think the PNP is going to be having a conference, and Sunday also will be the finals of the World Cup. Remember, Harry?
I'm here, neighbor.
Remember, Sunday is the final of the World Cup. What going to happen, man? By the way, remember, I have watched the Messi assist goal maybe 100 times. How did Messi get that ball to land on the man's head? How?
Neighbor is not something unusual for Messi, neighbor. He's just a unique individual.
No, but how did he get that ball to land on the man head over there? So how come?
So, neighbor, there are some things. When you play the game long enough, some things are muscle memory, and other things you know where to put the ball because you expect that specific player should arrive there. A lot of that as you play the game, you know, and plus players know their positions. Some players arrive late in the box, some arrive at the back post. Right, so they have different type of.
So it's all strategic. It's not just play. They know what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing, neighbor. The movements and so on, off the ball movements are key. But to be honest, it's going to be an interesting final, neighbor. I think Argentina will finally meet a tactically astute midfield, probably the best midfield in the competition, for the whole competition. That is, they've stand resolute, neighbor, and they're probably on the verge of creating history again because Spain has only conceded 1 goal for the World Cup. The last time a team conceded 5 or less, it was 2010 from same Spain. So it should pose a very good challenge for Argentina, neighbor. I mean, England did throw away the game, but you know, we leave that there.
Okay. And what do you think the eventual outcome is going to be? Would you want to call it?
1-0, neighbor. I'm actually expecting Spain to bring it home.
You are saying 1-0 in favor of Spain.
Yeah. I think what has happened, and I can say I'm proud to see players playing for their outgoing champion, because the truth about it is that this Argentina team is not the best team, you know. But what they did is something this World Cup should show people. They fight to the end and with heart. Neighbor, a lot of the teams that surprised us aren't the most technically gifted. They aren't the best, far from it. But they fight and they have heart, neighbor. Look at Cape Verde. The world know them because of how they fought and stood resolute against some of the best players, professionals at that, because Cape Verde team filled with 9 to 5 workers.
Yeah. Harry.
Go ahead,
France was the favorite for a lot of people, and they were beaten by Spain, to the shock, the surprise of many. What do you think went wrong for the French team? You posed that they were French toast. What happened? What happened to France?
Yeah, they were French toast, neighbor. Midfield, they died. They had no. So this France team, and I've said it before, they are technically top heavy, right? And they rely on wing plays. So they have the Doué, the Barcola, the Mbappe, Dembele, all these players. What they didn't have was a strong midfield, right? They didn't have somebody who is a out-and-out number 10 creator playing.
Yeah.
So, for example, they use a winger, which is Dembele, as a number 10. When you are a number 10 neighbor, you play the game in 360 degrees, not 180 degrees. And you see things different. They do have a player, which they bench, which was Turkey, he's a maverick at being in number 10, but he was never brought into the team properly anytime in the World Cup, and they suffered from tactical defeat. Spain doesn't have a great forward line, but what they do have, neighbor, is a very good understanding from their midfielders, a former Ballon d'Or in Rodri, workhorse in Ruiz, and of course a little Messi up front on the right wing in Lamine Yamal. But they are great at holding the ball and making small, intricate passes, which wears down team. And I think Argentina is going to come up against that, just as France did.
Okay. Tomorrow, Argentina. England play France for the bronze medal. The English team, Harry, I think. I am surprised that the English team has not lifted the World Cup in recent times with their level of football in England, with the Premier League and all of that. Aren't you surprised that the English team is not as formidable as some of the others?
I'm not, neighbor.
No?
I'm not. Because I've seen better English team with the Lampard, the Gerrards, the Rooneys fail. They crumbled in front of the Italians, in front of the Germans, and even the Spaniards. Because there's a thing around England is that they always have a cowardice aspect to them. Sadly, we saw where the coach in this World Cup was the biggest coward of all. Right? You had several attacking players and you chose 3 defensive players off the bench while you're up 1-0 and the game was still balanced.
Yes.
You cannot defend out a game for 25 minutes in which you are the better team pound for pound. Right? That is the thing about it, And this coach, barring he's a German, my team is German in neighbor, he's a coward of a coach. Because there's no way you're supposed to be inviting Argentina in your box with Lionel Messi. You're playing in the opponent's hands. And I think coming tomorrow, I expect France to run away with that neighbor. I can't even blame the English players. Maybe I can point out 1 or 2 of them. But that for England was predominantly on the coach, Thomas Tuchel. I would lay some form of blame on Harry Kane as well. I think he has failed as a leader on the pitch and as one of the best goal scorers currently in the world. I think he failed them because of how he played. You're a striker. You're not supposed to be trying to play midfield role and everything. You're supposed to be able to occupy the opponent's defenders and give your creators option up top. And he cowered into midfield, playing deeper and deeper and deeper. So there's nobody up front. When you're that lethal neighbor scoring 50-odd goals for the season, you're supposed to be up there if you score a goal.
Right. In terms of comparative analysis with other World Cups, how do you rate this one?
I don't like this World Cup at all, neighbor. Let me phrase it this way. The overall product for me is one of the poorest I've watched. And I've been watching World Cups from...
Really, member?
It is, neighbor. It is. For one, I don't think no president should get involved in anything.
Well, that was an unfortunate... Yes.
I also think how they're trying to adapt World Cup for America, I think it's outright disgusting from my standpoint. You should not crumble to the country hosting the World Cup. This is a World Cup where it unites a nation, neighbor. This is not an American sport. I see them now putting out that they're going to sell rings. This is not the NBA.
Yeah.
Where players are going to get golden rings. So I don't think it was done well. Logistically, it was poor. You had 39 countries being affected, 39 officials from countries being affected coming in. I think they handled the Iran situation poorly. There's so many things that went wrong, and I think Geoff Infantini as well, neighbor, didn't look like a leader for some of the things that was done, and the officiating as well is extremely questionable.
Hold on a little bit for me, listeners, please. Yeah, thank you so much. We got 5 subscribers within the last 10 minutes. Can we get another 5 persons, please? Can 5 more people just subscribe to Politics Matter JA? We are doing a little bit of football analysis here. Politics Matter JA on YouTube. We're live over there. Still, we have over 250 people watching us on YouTube, and we thank you for staying with us, and we want you to remain with us, but we want to launch the channel, but we need the channel to get up to 1,000 subscribers before we officially launch YouTube. We're not officially there yet. I want you to understand that our official launch of our new YouTube channel is being planned, but we need to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and then we can really hit it. As a matter of fact, we have a lot to say, but we want to make sure that we say it after we officially launch the channel. So please subscribe. If we get up to 1,000 subscribers by Monday, then we could probably plan the launch next week. And you don't want to miss that, do you? No, you don't want to miss that. Politics Matter JA coming with a bang. You want to make sure that you subscribe. So please go over to Politics Matter JA, Politics Matter JA, PMJ, and subscribe. I beg you. Miss my moderator, Politics Matter. That's POLITICS. Politics Matter JA, and subscribe to that channel. Let's try see if we can work on this tonight and over the weekend. If you're on TikTok, well, great. Thank you so much. And please remember that your contributions to the program is very appreciated. We have a Zelle account. That's 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. For sponsor, you want to sponsor a segment, you want to sponsor the program, you want to send a contribution, we appreciate it. This is how we keep the network going. All right, so thank you so much. 954-635-8732. Harry,
Yes,
the conspiracy theory and the theorists, do you think that anything goes so? Is the World Cup skewed towards an Argentina's win, or to at least get them in the final?
Well, there have been very questionable situations. Well, quite a number of them, which would have gone in favor of Argentina neighbor. I can point to one specific one for Lionel Messi. The first game, he was studs up on the calf of a player, and he didn't even get a warning. By the rule book, that is a straight red card, and he didn't even get anything. And it was reviewed, and he still didn't get anything. Because had that happened, neighbor, I can tell you the Argentinians probably would be crying already, because Messi would have been banned for, I believe, 2 games. And that was more than enough to not make it through the group stage as easy as it was. But I think it is mostly down to poor officiating, right through the.
Why would the officiators be poor for the Argentina game? You don't think that this conspiracy thing is just that conspiracy, just people speculate?
Every World Cup you have a conspiracy theory, neighbor. In fact, I can give you one. They said any team that beats a team that beats Japan wins the World Cup, right? And that has been running for the last 4 World Cups to be so-called true, right? But you have these things coming up, and I think it's the narrative surrounding Lionel Messi. You know, that he's the GOAT. Other person says Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT, and I think the pinning against each other, being that both is having their final. Is writing their final chapter in football for their country and probably retire overall. I think people want that, and this conspiracy theory actually is prolonged to help sell people business, neighbor, because we have to look at it from that point as well. The longer it continues, it brings attraction to people and also attention right through. But I think a lot of people are hate watching. Because, like I said, there's a lot of poor calls that were made right through several games. I think England didn't deserve to be in the semis because of the call against Norway, where the ball hit the camera wire, which by the rules it should be a dead ball situation. That ball went straight to an English player, and they scored immediately from that error, which then, they went on to beat Norway. You have the Egypt game, you have the Germany games. So there's quite a number that I laid solely at the feet of the officiators, neighbor. I think the game has gotten extremely soft, for one. I think the rules are very questionable now. They aren't black and white anymore. And I think it's too subjective in critical cases where today it is yes, tomorrow it's a no, and those decisions decide games and massive gains for teams. So I think the onus has to be predominantly on the officiating and FIFA overall.
Okay. Jamaicans tend to love football. I noticed, Harry, that over the course of the World Cup, Jamaicans choose various teams. You see the flags flying. You see people decking their cars with flags. But Brazil seemed to be the team many Jamaicans carry. What happened to the Brazil team this year?
Wasn't good enough, neighbor.
Oh,
it's the worst Brazil team I've watched.
uh-huh.
When I look at it, the semblance of certain players, neighbor, is extremely questionable. The samba is no longer in Brazil, and that was the heart for them. I hear one man say, "Listen, we don't need to go back to the favelas to go find footballers because these footballers that are playing have it too easy. They're comfortable. They make good money." So you have to go back to the streets to find those who are hungry for it again to bring back that samba feeling for Brazil. And I think he might have some tenets to that. For quite a while, I don't see that flair coming from the Brazilians anymore. I don't see they turn football into a dance, melodical movements, rhythmic. That's not there anymore. We're seeing some systematic plays like they're Europeans. And if it's one thing people who watch football, neighbor, especially in Europe, the Latin Americans and South Americans bring the flair to football. And I think slowly, because of football switching to systems, it is slowly dying. And it has hurt Brazil as well.
Okay. Where did the love affair with Jamaicans come from for Brazil?
It was the whole aspect with Pele, neighbor, when he actually visited and played. And people love that type of football. He was the idol. How his story was told, neighbor, people could have, look at themselves in him. And then, of course, at the time, the rise, we still had some level of colonialism aspect to it, and we saw hope from a black man, if I want to be frank to it. He represented that, and he gave hope to people right across the world. So listen, black man can play football too and win. That was a critical part of it, because up to today's date, I don't think anybody has eclipsed Pele in winning 3 World Cups. I mean, for me personally, one is questionable because I believe the first one, he only played 1 game. He was injured for the rest. But a win is a win, right? A trophy is a trophy. But I think he brought that to Jamaicans, and they loved it and bought into it, neighbor. But I want to say, I think that also is dying, because growing up, I thought Jamaica was, when it comes to country football, it was Brazil. One big flag of Brazil, Jamaica paint over. When it comes to club football, I thought it was just Liverpool and Manchester United. But now, through globalization, I think you get to appreciate football from different nations, because we see how the Dutch have revolutionized football, beautiful football. The Spaniards have refined it. The Italians have shown us the defensive prowess and how to go about it and to be resolute. And of course, the Germans were the counteracting kings of football, neighbor. And then, of course, Brazil, the samba, the niceness, the pile, the flick, the dance. So we got to appreciate a lot more of that as we're exposed. And I think people have now taken on the option for other countries as they appreciate it greater and greater.
Fantastic. Well, finally, member, Jamaica qualified for World Cup, and we thought that, we could have another shot at it. But watching this World Cup and to see the level of the level at which the teams are playing, how likely it is that Jamaica will be here in 4 years?
I don't see Jamaica going to World Cup anytime soon.
Oh.
Probably if God come down and form a team himself, or Jesus and the 12 disciples, neighbor, I don't see Jamaica doing it. I think our program is definitely not good enough. When you look and see Haiti, who has not played a single home game in 5 years, getting a harder group than Jamaica. And they were the only other countries that got it easier than Jamaica to qualify for this World Cup were the host nations, Canada, USA, and Mexico. Our group was neighbor who could have sent the high school boys and probably would have qualified because they would have fought, they would have shown pride, they would have shown the determination from 98 to get there. I don't see this happening, neighbor. I see one player who people deem the leader complain about how him no want to share in a room and him need special this and special that. And these are the things that divide a team. The JFF program is really one of the poorest probably worldwide. And it's not because of funding. They do get funding from FIFA. But I think the politics and the hunger for power and holding status in that program at the higher end neighbor has crippled Jamaica football. And we've seen, we have the trajectory for Jamaica cricket. That is where Jamaica football is going, almost extinct. And it's a sad thing to see where these sports that has brought national pride and regional pride overall is slowly dying. And there's nothing the leaders who are paid.
We're actually playing cricket in empty stadiums, but every time that the reggae boys go to the national stadium, the support remains there. Why is it that the boys aren't doing better with the support for them still so strong?
The team does not have one of the most important factor, neighbor, chemistry. You cannot be bringing in 15, 18 players 3 days before you have a competitive match. These players may play against each other in respective leagues, barring not necessarily the highest leagues in football, but experience is experience. But when you take them from so many different places, playing different ways, and you don't have a standard for one, Jamaica football don't have a philosophy. For you to go anywhere in football, you have to have a philosophy, neighbor. What you set up to play. If you look at it, Spain was tiki-taka. The Dutch in their prime, barring them never winning it, having gone to 4 finals, were that Rolls-Royce type of football with Ron Cruyff, right? You had the Germans counter-attacking. You have the Brazilians in terms of them playing that expressive football. The Italians, defensively astute. What does Jamaica have? At one point, Jamaica players, when you watch them playing neighbor, them kick the ball up in the air and hope something happens. You can't be doing that. You have to have a specific way how you want to play. You also have to put in the long hours to analyze your opponents. You can't do that 3 days before you play them. And you also want to ensure that these players know each other. There's a thing where I draw from one of the greatest club managers there is, Pep Guardiola. His teams eat together every night, same time. They have a cut-off time. You don't see them at party late at night, gone at Taboo and them places before games or even after games. So it's almost like you put that level of understanding where you live together so you understand each other's mindset, neighbor. And you need a program to do this. You can't do that in 3 days.
Oh, well, fascinating, Harry. I knew that you were a sports analyst. I didn't know that you were so good. Congratulations, man. So you are saying that it will be a 1-0 in term for Spain tomorrow. No. So what you expect? You expect France to win tomorrow, and then you expect Spain to lift the World Cup.
Yeah. I think France will probably steamroll England, right? And I do expect Spain to be frustrating for Argentina. I've seen a lot of things that is the crypto Argentina. Cape Verde has exploited that, but they didn't have the quality to take them across the line. And of course, when you have a Lionel Messi neighbor, it's a cheat code. But I think Spain have enough in the locker to shut them out, as they've done with everybody else. And also they have the experience to hold it together and nick a goal and keep it shut down for the rest of the minutes.
Okay, yeah, I think France will will emerge tomorrow victorious. But I think that on Sunday, the Argentinians will be celebrating a second successive World Cup victory. Argentina will win the World Cup on Sunday. I will tell you tomorrow how many goals they'll score. Hold on. Thank you so much for locking down with us. We've been here since about 8:30, and it's now 11:35. And this is going to be it for us on this glorious Friday night. The Hello Neighbor Show live on TikTok and on YouTube. Politics Matter Jamaica. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for watching, for sharing, for listening, for tapping, for the roses. Oh, Caroline, you outdid yourself tonight. You sent many, many gifts. As usual, thank you, everybody. By the way, there is a difference, between that word everybody and everyone. When do you use everybody versus everyone? A little bit of English lesson for you. We'll tell you some other time, because sometimes it's better to say everyone and sometimes everybody. Okay, so everyone, thank you, everyone, rather than everybody. No, Harry, you're an English student. Tell us. I hope I'm not putting member Harry on the spot here.
Is that from a neighbor?
Is there a difference between saying everybody or everyone? Thanks everybody or thanks everyone?
Well, it's a formality of each terminology, neighbor. If memory serves me well, anyone is for the formal writing or formal speech, and then I don't want to say commoners, but anybody is
everybody is for me. Everybody is for me, and everyone is for you.
Yeah, it's more casual. Let me be.
Yeah.
Anybody is more casual. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay. So neither of them are incorrect. It just depends on who
the setting and the environment you're in.
All right. So we want to thank everyone, right?
Definitely. And then the neighbor rights will say, but we're all one family, and then you have to say anybody.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. You see that? So you learn sports here, you learn politics, you learn philosophy, psychology, biology, theology. Oh my goodness. You may even learn extracology. What is that now? Wow. That's about end times, eh?
Hello?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. So I just want to ask everybody here.
Okay, that was so funny. Go ahead, producer.
Yes. So I just want to ask everybody on TikTok to go over to YouTube and subscribe to Politics Matter JA. Asking you, please, just go over to YouTube and subscribe. Would really appreciate it.
Thanks,
everybody.
Oh, I find this to be so funny. You don't even realize, Miss Caroline. She's classic, She's a classic girl, eh? Remember?
Yes, neighbor.
You know what Caroline came up here the other night to ask me? What pre? What a pre?
Oh yes, I heard her.
You heard it?
I heard her.
What pre? Oh God! His member scratchy. She learning these things by the what pre? What pre? Oh boy, I tell you. By the way, member, how you managing the heat over there in Portmore?
Why, neighbor? It's definitely not good, But I spend most of my hours in the office, so
air
AC
conditioner
nice,
and then you drive home in your nice AC.
yeah, but when you come home,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
it's not nice, but we have to deal with it. Of course, you want to keep an eye on the JPS bill to neighbor.
True.
So you have to find a workaround. So for everybody, a little tip. You can run the AC for half an hour, and just turn on your fan to circulate that cool air. All right?
Yes. Okay. Lovely. How is your baby?
She's out there kicking up her rumpus in her neighbor. Once she gets her little evening walks and so on, she's perfectly fine.
All right. Have a great night, Harry. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, neighbor.
Thank you so much.
Have a great night to everyone. Caroline, have a lovely one.
Bye-bye. All right, great. All right, so everyone, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to Politics Matter JA. I think we will try to be here tomorrow. If we can't be live, definitely we'll be doing a podcast or so. But definitely we'll be on at 6 o'clock on Sunday to do the Sunday review. All right, and of course tomorrow 2 o'clock you have a football match, and on Sunday you have one at the same time. We'll be on around about 6 o'clock with the Sunday review. YouTube, thank you so much. What a great week. Next week will be better. Next week, better. Brighter. Pick yourself up. Start all over. Yeah. You never give up in life, You never give up. It doesn't matter what you go through. You pick yourself up and you start all over. And many of you listening to me now maybe at a pause in your life. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a job. But at some point in your life, you are having a decision to make. You may have been hurt. You can do it. Yeah? You can do it. Move on. Pick yourself up. Start all over. Take care of yourselves until I catch you on the other side. You hear? YouTube, bye-bye. Take care, bye-bye. Remember to subscribe and tell somebody about the live, okay? Politics Matter JA. We'll be back with you. Definitely Sunday, and look out for our podcast tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. Yeah, well, that's